What's going down, y'all? Welcome to another video. One quick thing before we do get into today's video is if you guys want to be subscribed to my channel, whether you're new, I know YouTube's been automatically unsubscribing people from random YouTube channels, so make sure if you want to be subscribed to my channel, make sure you are actually subscribed. So if you want to subscribe, just hit the button down below that says subscribe. Easy as that. So today's video, dummy proof taper fade technique. Shockingly, I'm not doing a ball fade video. A lot of you guys give me heat for doing ball fades, which I think it's way harder to do a ball fade than do a taper. So if you can learn how to do a ball fade, you can learn how to do a taper. But if you don't know how to do a taper, watch the video and actually pay attention. It's very simple. I think a caveman could do it. Alright, y'all, first thing you want to do is comb out your client's hair. That way you know what you need to cut, how you want the haircut to look. And since this haircut is going to be a taper, you're going to bald out the areas in which you're going to do a taper in. So this instance, both the sides and the back are going to be balded out using the wall detailer, or you can use your anesthesia liner, whatever you want to use to bald out these areas. Alright, y'all, what we're gonna do is back taper first. It's kind of the hardest part of this haircut, or it's like the biggest region where you have to work in, so we're gonna knock it out first. So our first guideline is gonna be austere fast speed, no guard with the lever closed. And this technique for this taper is just like my ball fade, so the next guideline up is gonna be all the way open with no guard. And in between those two guidelines, you just created a faint line of hair in between the two layers. So all you have to do is roughly put that lever halfway in the middle. I say roughly because halfway in the middle exactly might not get the job done. So you have to play with the lever a little bit, open it, close it, just to knock that line out. And the next guideline up from there is a 1/16 guard all the way open. Now, if you're experienced, you can go a number 2 or 1 guard all the way open, or whatever you feel comfortable fading from no guard all the way open up into. But just for beginner's sakes, we're gonna do a 1/16 guard because that's the next highest guard up from no guard. Hopefully that made sense. Now, in between that 1/16 guard all the way open back down to no guard all the way open, we're gonna go with the 1/16 guard closed. Now, before we go up any higher in this taper, we're gonna go back down in between 1/16 guard closed and no guard all the way open. There's like a very faint dark line in between those two layers. So just go with no guard, open and close, and then flick that dark line out. And the last guideline that we need to put in place in this back taper is a 1 guard all the way open. So from that number 1 guard open that we just used back down into the 1/16 region, there was like a little dark spot in there. So to fade from that long number 1 back down to the 1/16, all you have to do is close that number 1 guard. And to fade out the rest of this taper into his curls, we're going to use a long number 2 or a number 2 guard open. Like I said, the 1 guard open was our last guideline because with this number 2 guard open, you don't want to make another guideline. You're just trying to flick out the hair to blend into the curls. And the rest of this taper, all you're going to do is work your way back down, knocking down any dark spots you see. So this is a number 1 guard open, then I'm just going to switch to a 1/16 guard open, and then I'm going to eventually get back to no guard all the way open and closing just to knock out any dark spots you see. So we fade upwards, and then we check our work by fading back downwards. So we went no guard, 1/16, 1, then a 2. Then we go 2, 1, 1/16, then no guard. Hopefully that makes sense. You're just checking your work, fading up, and then fading back down, knocking down any dark spots that you see. And moving on to the side taper, it's the same exact steps as the back taper. So I'm going to leave the text up, but I won't talk as much as I did during the back taper. That way you guys can watch me cut and then try to figure out what step is next or what guidelines is next without me saying anything. I think that's going to help you guys learn faster if I just talk here. Sit here and talk through it with you guys. So hopefully you guys catch on and just try to pay attention. Alright guys, let me butt in for 1 second because you guys are about to see me cut with the grain with the number 2 guard open. All this is doing is laying down some of the curls into the taper. That way it transitions better, it fades better. And then I do the same thing with the number 1 guard open, just going down into the taper just to make it fade that much better. Hopefully that really makes sense to you guys, because a lot of you guys don't understand with the grain, against the grain. But all I'm doing is laying down the hairs that are not so curly down into the taper. And after you're completely done with all the taper regions, what's left is just to line them up. So we're gonna line up the back of the taper first, which is probably the most important part of this haircut besides the front lineup, because it's really gonna make your back taper pop out that much more. And the only tip I can give you when doing this is use the corner of your blades just like a pencil. Don't push it back into the taper. Keep it natural, but you also want this to be sharp. Like I said, it brings out the back taper. And this is the last thing I'm gonna say in this video. Just keep it natural, keep it sharp. The side lineup and the front lineup is the most important part of any haircut, because that's the first thing you see when you look at somebody dead on, is the front lineup and somewhat of the side lineup. So keep this natural, keep it sharp, don't push nobody back, and that's really it.